The expression backbone breaker is nowhere to be found in the English dictionary, but its direct translation into Korean makes perfect sense for most Koreans, especially parents of teenagers. The long black padded coat is the it item in Korea for most middle and high schoolers this winter, and its heavy price tags are financially breaking the backbones of parents. It's déjà vu all over again. This time, it's the long padded coat, but a few years ago, it was the North Face jackets, and then Canada Goose jackets. There's nothing new about people keeping up with the Joneses, but many point out that Koreans are especially sensitive to following trends. Koreans can't stand the feeling that they are falling behind the current trends, especially around their peers. They tend to feel more comfortable being part of a group, rather than as a free and independent individual. But there are many who are worried that following group mentality will result in a lack of individualism and creativity. For many parents, buying a long padded coat for their children can be a reassuring way to protect their children from cold weather. Korean school uniforms are too thin to keep the students warm. Moreover, it also may provide social comfort for the child. The question is, what are Koreans sacrificing if they all want to fit in and look the same? Yeah, I've seen these coats are very expensive. I've seen over 300,000 won. I've even seen over 400,000 won. So buying an expensive coat for one or more of your children is a financial burden to parents. Financial burden is, I think we've talked about this a little bit on a previous podcast, is anything that is going to hurt you financially or cost a lot of money. Also, spending more than 300,000 won for a coat to wear for one season is not financially responsible and puts too much stress on the parents. So being financially responsible is, we also call it living within your means. That means you don't spend more money than you make, and you make responsible purchases. So if you're going to buy an expensive item and only wear it once or for 3 months, that's not financially responsible. You can do that if you're very rich, but most people can't do that. Yes, I agree with that. It is actually very warm. My jacket only goes to my waist and I'm cold. So next year I won't be part of the trend, but I may buy a longer jacket. Although the costs are high and everyone is wearing a long padded coat, it is very warm and perfect for Korean winters. Koreans don't care if everyone's dressed the same, and the cost of the coat is high. They just want to be warm. Those who do not keep up with the trend will feel left out. So the feeling of being left out is the feeling if you're in any sort of social situation and you are not invited to a party, or even if you're at a party, no one is talking to you, or the group is doing one activity, but you weren't asked to join, or if you do join, you don't feel a part of it. So that's feel like you're left out. Also, if some individuals do not follow the trend in Korea, they will feel like outcasts. I guess the translation, one of them is wanta in Korea. An outcast is someone who is not accepted by a group and then is pushed out of that group. Or it can be someone who is part of a society and is pushed out of a society and not welcome back. We call those people outcasts. Yes, I know we've mentioned keeping up with the Joneses a few times during this podcast. The Keeping Up with the Joneses dates back to an old comic strip that was in the newspapers in the early 1900s in America. It was very popular, especially during the Depression. It showed one family called the Joneses, and the Joneses were very rich. I think they were bankers. And they had neighbors that were very poor. And the jokes would always be the difference between rich and poor. But we use the expression now, keeping up with the Joneses is if your neighbor buys a car, an expensive car, you have to buy one equally or even more expensive to keep up with them, to show that you are as rich as they are. That was kind of the joke of the comic strip back then. But keeping up with the Joneses is just imitating people around you and trying to appear rich, even though you may not be. Social media sites have had a huge impact on trends and how people act and dress. Everyone wants to fit in with their peers. The effects of social media can influence the way people behave. Apps like Facebook and Instagram that show postings of people living an extravagant life can make viewers envious of that lifestyle. Viewers will do whatever it takes to imitate that way of living. So we talked about apps like Facebook and Instagram, and they show people, as we say, an extravagant life. Now, people may take pictures of themselves on vacation, next to a private plane, next to a sports car. Extravagant means rich and wealthy. Some of these pictures are true, some of them are not. But extravagance is living a wealthy life. Also, it can make viewers envious of the lifestyle. So envious is the same as jealous, and the lifestyle is way of living. So if I'm a viewer and I see people on the beach in an exotic location, I can feel jealous of the way they are living. So envious of that lifestyle. And finally, viewers will do whatever it takes to imitate that way of living. So to do whatever it takes means you will do anything to get what you want. So if a viewer sees someone on the beach in Bora Bora at an expensive hotel, those viewers may charge their credit card, even if they don't have the money, to go on that vacation, take that picture, and to imitate what they saw on social media. The nail that sticks out gets hammered down is a proverb that Westerners understand about Asian culture. We think if you act like an individual, you will attract more negative attention. That's why you force yourself to act like everyone else in the group. So yeah, in America, we kind of have this expression that we understand. The nail that sticks out gets hammered down, meaning if you act a certain way that the group isn't acting, there'll be more, attention towards you and force you to act just like the group for the benefit of the group mentality. And then you will attract more negative attention. So attracting more negative attention is, you can use that for other situations, but if you're doing something different that the rest of the group isn't doing, more negative things will happen to you. And then force yourself to act like everyone else. To force yourself is to make yourself do something, to use willpower. So you can force yourself, to stop eating sugar, or force yourself to stop drinking, or force yourself to, be more polite around your boss and maybe be nicer to him or her. And last, Koreans feel peer pressure to act like those around them. Peer pressure is pressure used by a group against one individual. It can be used for many cases. For example, if you don't drink alcohol and you're with a group of people and they're trying to get you to drink, here, have a beer. Oh, no, thank you, I don't drink. Oh, come on, just have one. Just have one sip. And everyone's telling you to do something, that is peer pressure. Also, I know an example of a woman. She's 35 years old. She has 4 other female friends. All of her female friends have had some sort of plastic surgery, and she hasn't. She's a very pretty girl, but all her female friends tell her, oh, you should get something. You should get something done. You're pretty, but you should get something done, eye surgery, nose surgery, but she doesn't want to. So even at an older age, she feels peer pressure from the group against her. Thanks, everybody. See you next week. Bye-bye.